Hey team, Lou here, coming in hot with Wednesday's functional movement and mobility, not mobility video. Today's video I wanted to just touch on the strength curve. So many of you may have heard something called the strength curve. I'm just going to basically explain what that is and how that can be advantageous in knowing what that means and how it applies to different exercises. Okay, if we were to simplify what the strength curve means, it basically is a way of saying or figuring out where is the hardest point in the lift. So all lifts, when we move the implement from A to B, or we move our body from A to B, at some point in that movement, there's going to be times where it's easier, and there's going to be a time where it hits its peak of difficulty. So the easiest version I felt people could grasp exactly what this means was with a bicep curl. So simply by the bicep curl, so everyone knows what that is. So simply by changing the placement of my elbow and where that is in relation to my body changes the strength curve of the bicep curl. So same exercise, flexing at the elbow, but we're changing where the elbow is in regards to the body. And by that change alone, even though it's the same exercise, we're changing the strength curve and therefore changing the demand on the bicep. So here's what I mean. I'll show you three different setups of a bicep curl, and we're changing the strength curve with each one. So if we do a Scott curl, whereby we have the elbow forward from the body. So I'm going to use the support of my bench. So you see my elbow is forward from the body, different to when we do a normal, say, standing bicep curl where it is next to the body. So important to recognize with this lift, right? If we're just going from the standing bicep curl, so we stand and we curl the dumbbell like so. At the bottom, there is little to no resistance, okay? At the top, there is little to no resistance. Halfway through, at 90 degrees, is the point at which a standing bicep curl is the most difficult, simply due to gravity. So basically, I couldn't stand like this for hours at a time. I could likely stand like this for much longer. Hopefully you see the difference in that here's difficult, at the top is not, at the bottom is not, right? So remember that 90-degree angle. Now, if I then do a Scott bench curl, like I was just about to show you, and go all the way down and all the way up. So the same thing is kind of happening. At the bottom here, there's little to no resistance, right? Again, we have to reference that 90 degree to the floor point. So right about now, due to gravity, this would be the hardest point of the lift. If I then try and keep this framework in my arm and bring it so I've come to a standing bicep curl, you can see that my forearm is a lot lower than what it was when I was doing the standing curl. So there, hopefully that highlighted, although we're still flexing at the elbow, the demand on the bicep is different between the two. If we then compare that again, so same, we're still doing elbow flexion, we're still loading the bicep. If we then go into an incline curl, so now we don't have the elbow forward from the body, we don't have the elbow next to the body, we've simply placed the elbow behind the body. So now my elbow is behind the body, and I do my bicep curls like this. So this is the position where the bicep is under most stretch. So probably one of the harder ones to do. But again, if I reference that 90-degree point at which it should be the hardest, so that would probably be about there. That is the hardest point of a bicep curl when done on an incline bench, due to the angle being 90 to the floor and gravity's, taking that weight back down to the floor. If I then again try and keep this structure and this amount of flexion at the elbow and stand up to compare it to a standing curl, You can see my forearm is a bit higher compared to the standing curl, and then compared again to the Scott bench curl where it's down lower. So, like I was saying, we've done the same exercise. We're still doing elbow flexion, still looking to train the bicep, but depending on the setup, whether we go Scott bench, elbows forward, standing, elbows next to us, or incline bench where the elbows are behind, the demand is slightly different on the bicep in that the point in which the exercise is most difficult changes across all three setups. So remember, that doesn't just apply to bicep curls, that applies to every movement your body is doing when you're lifting an implement or moving it from A to B, or simply moving your body. It helps to know the strength curve of that movement and how you can manipulate and change the setup to change where the movement is most difficult, and therefore change the demand on certain muscles. Let me know where you're at with it. Any questions, shoot them down below. I'll catch you guys Friday.